Why you should never sand wood like this. Common sanding mistakes. Sanding seems like one of the easiest parts of woodworking. Just grab some sandpaper and smooth things out, right? But here's the truth. Most beginners are sanding completely wrong, and it's ruining their projects. Today, I'll show you exactly what mistakes to avoid and how to sand like a pro for flawless, smooth finishes every time. The biggest mistake is sanding across the grain. When you sand against or across the grain, those scratches might look invisible at first, but once you apply stain or finish, they pop out like scars. Always sand with the grain. It takes a little longer, but it gives you that buttery smooth surface every woodworker wants. Another common mistake is skipping grits. Many beginners jump straight from rough sanding to finishing grit, thinking it saves time. But skipping grits actually leaves deeper scratches behind. Start with coarse grit like 80 or 100, then move to 150, 180, and finally 220 for the perfect finish. Each step removes the scratches from the previous one. Oversanding is another silent project killer. It might sound crazy, but you can actually sand too much. When you oversand, you close the pores of the wood, making it hard for stains or oils to penetrate evenly. That's why your stain sometimes looks blotchy or dull. The surface is too polished. Stop at 220 grit for most finishes unless you're working with softwoods like pine. Using worn-out sandpaper is another big mistake. If your sandpaper looks shiny, it's done. Dull sandpaper doesn't cut. It just polishes unevenly and creates heat, which can glaze the surface. Always use fresh sandpaper for best results. It's cheap, and it makes a world of difference in your finish quality. Another overlooked mistake is applying too much pressure. Let the sandpaper or sander do the work. Pressing hard creates swirl marks and uneven surfaces. Light, consistent pressure gives you a smoother, more even finish. If you're using an orbital sander, keep it moving in overlapping passes. Never hold it in one spot or you'll burn the wood. And here's a pro tip. After you think you're done sanding, wipe the surface with a damp cloth. This raises the grain slightly. Then give it one final light sand with fine grit paper. It makes your surface ultra smooth and helps finishes go on evenly. Finally, always sand between coats of finish. Lightly buffing with 320 grit paper between coats helps the next layer bond better and removes any dust nibs for that flawless, professional look. So, if you've been struggling with blotchy finishes, visible scratches, or uneven texture, it's probably your sanding technique. Fix these mistakes, and your projects will instantly look cleaner, smoother, and far more professional. If you've ever made one of these sanding mistakes, don't worry. Every woodworker has. Comment below which one you're guilty of, and let's help each other improve.